In prior videos, we've talked about the housing market, affordable housing, and the housing shortage and what goes into that. And there's an excellent article from MarketWatch, one of the largest financial analyst type publications, that asks the same question. Why is it so difficult for builders to meet the demand for homes? And we're not just talking about everyday middle of the road market rate homes and high-end homes. We're talking about getting a volume of properties out there so that people that can't afford houses or workforce housing or getting homeless people off the streets can be done. Builders want to build houses. That's what we're in business for, right? If you're a commercial contractor or general contractor, you want to be building. It's not like you want to be sitting on your hands not doing building. It's kind of like if you go to an ice cream shop and they don't sell ice cream. Builders want to build houses. So why is there a shortage of houses, and why is it difficult for builders to build? Well, this article gets into those reasons. Let's take a look at what they are. Number one is zoning. Not every property is eligible to build a house on. There may be restrictions of building a house or residential structure on a certain piece of land. It might have to do with the zoning is commercial versus residential, or single family versus multifamily, or the zoning also might restrict it in terms of setback. If you have a piece of property that has 10-foot setbacks on either side, and that only leaves you with 15 feet in the middle, it's not big enough to functionally build that house. There may also be zoning problems with things like utility access or easement access. Not every piece of property is eligible to build a home. Plus, there might be grandfathered in use for that property that might restrict the ownership to build what they want on the house. Next is related, and it's building codes, but it's not exactly the same. Building codes put restrictions on what can be built on a property. Even if it's zoned to be used on that property, the codes might not let you build in a certain way. For example, they might have certain limits on the height of the house or the aesthetics of the house or where you can put a fence. And those codes might functionally restrict the builder or the homeowner to put what they want on that property. And by doing that, it slows down the process. And the building codes not only can prevent a property from being built, but they might also delay the property. Getting all the approvals of the building codes, getting all the permits in place might require that you go through a permit approval process. So instead of just filing a permit, getting it approved in a couple weeks, it might take several months or even years to get that permit done. And that might functionally kill the project, right? If you're looking to build a multifamily home, 10-unit apartment complex or condo, and it's going to take you 2 years to get through zoning, the owner of the property who's doing the development might just say, look, forget it. I don't want to wait 2 years because my money is going to be at risk during that time while I'm in that development. If you're a speculative builder, same thing. You might not want to go with that hassle because you don't even know for sure if you can do this deal until that permit is done. So it's a catch-22. Do you go out and get your funding for it not knowing if it can be done, or do you get the approval first and then worry about getting funding? Because if you get all the approvals and then find out you can't actually make the math work because the market is different at that point, or maybe because the construction cost is different, then you're out of luck. So building codes have a lot to do with it. Then the other one is labor shortages, right? Where we've talked about it before. The number of skilled trades that are available, ready, willing, and able to work, is a lot lower than is what is needed to build all these homes. If the shortage is, some people say 5 million houses shortage for affordable houses and workforce houses and getting homeless people off the street, building 5 million homes is going to take a workforce of skilled trades, not just general contractors or builders, companies. You need a certain number of workforce to do that, and the number of people that are out there right now are insufficient to do it. And I know what a lot of people say is, well, if you paid more money, look, we have builders and colleagues that we know that are offering $80, $90, $100 an hour for skilled trades. They're still not getting qualified people that know what they're doing enough to apply. And even if they do get somebody who barely scrapes together kind of some history or experience and it's wishful thinking on that builder to hire them, they put them on payroll, they start paying them $80 or $90 an hour, they still don't show up for work. They still don't have the knowledge to actually do the job that they're hired for. So look, builders want to pay people. We've run ads before, not quite that high, but $60 or $70 an hour, and still don't get any takers. And the few people that we do hire, half of them don't have the job experience or knowledge that they represented, so we can never finish the project. So labor shortages is a big deal. And then last but not least is building materials. Even though lumber prices have gone down and other materials have gone down, it's still not to the level where the stability and the level is sustainable in the marketplace. So if you build a house, let's say it's $200 a square foot or $240 a square foot to build it, the market of the sale of that house may not be able to absorb that construction cost from building materials and for labor. So the building material cost is part of it, but also the delays. If you know you're going to need certain roofing materials on a certain day and you put it into your job timeline and they don't show up, now everything after that is thrown off. You can't start doing paint. You can't start doing site work. So the delay throws off the timeline. And the timeline is a huge factor in getting that job done on budget, because you're going to schedule all your subs and all your contractors one after another. So you're going to have framing and then rough in and then sheetrock and then inspections and then final mechanicals. And if one of those gets thrown off, now all the schedule for the other subs has to be delayed. So if you scheduled, let's say, your plumber to come in after your framing is done, you might put some leeway in there, maybe a week or so, just for, fudge the dates. But now if your framing doesn't get done because there's no materials, now you have to tell your plumber, look, I told you to come on April 12th, but we're not going to be ready on April 12th. When are you available next? It might be till June until they can come back. So it throws your whole timeline off, and that has an effect on the price, not just on the delivery date, but it has an effect on the price because of carrying cost, insurance, interest, everything else. So these are the four factors that are putting a monkey wrench in the marketplace. The bottom line is that builders want to build stuff. That's what we're here for, to build properties. But if the other factors outside of our control, such as permit approvals, zoning, building materials, and to some extent workforce, doesn't allow us to do our job, then it keeps a backlog of homes that are needed, and that's going to affect the bigger economy. The prices of homes is going to continue to go up, and the number of people that can't afford affordable housing and are on the street or living in substandard accommodations is going to continue to go up until these things work themselves out.